Hays Carlyon in La Selva with you is a packed show. All kind of fun stuff, all kind of stuff today on the program. And one less wide receiver on the Jaguars roster when the league year begins. Surprised at all? I guess not. The Christian Kirk is going to, according to reports, is going to be let go by the Jags.
I would have kept him even if he didn't want to take the pay cut. But I get it. I mean, I get where they're at. I mean, they're building something basically from scratch here in terms of their guys. They're inheriting all these players. And, I think Liam Cohen is got to decide, what does he fit? And if he isn't a great fit, he is a very expensive player. And you can take that money and apply it elsewhere with free agency getting ready to start. So I'm a little concerned just because obviously the receiver room now is Brian Thomas Jr. and really little else. But and I get that they'll add to it. But yeah, I was not surprised, but it wasn't the direction I would have gone in. I understand it. And I think Christian Kirk will be productive at his next stop. I think he's still got a lot of good football left in him.
My take is sadly very similar. Almost exactly similar. I hate to see you get rid of good football players, and I think he's a good football player. I do. I believe he's a good player. But I get it. Look, when you're that expensive and you're trying to rebuild and you think you're close, and I do believe this administration knows what they're doing. You've heard this show. I was a big proponent of getting Baselli involved. I think Gladstone's a megastar. I think Liam's going to be really good too. So I get it. And I think the other thing too is availability. The as much as I like, I'm a big Christian Kirk fan, man. But he's missed a big part of 2 seasons, Hays, and I think it's naive to think that doesn't factor into the conversation. So I didn't love it because I hate. Number one, I just think he's a great guy. He's close to Trevor. He represents this team so well on so many fronts, and he's a good player. And I don't know if you have enough good players to move on from good players, but I get it. The expense, the availability, the other things you're trying to do. You got a lot of draft picks. You're probably going to be somewhat active in free agency. This might make you more active in free agency. I get it. I totally get it. I don't think it's a surprise. I think a lot of people were asking the question all along, do you move on from Christian Kirk? And now the Jags will. I agree with you. Christian Kirk's going to catch on somewhere and going to catch a lot of passes in the NFL. I think he's a good football. I really do. I think he's a good football player. Good person, good football player. And so I'm like you. I hate to see it happen, but I certainly understand why it happened. But now, we got a lot of things we're going to get to on the program today. We're going to do a Duval County Scholar Athlete that comes up in about 10 minutes. Brett Hastings is going to stop by at 4:40 today, a little one segment later for him. And he's going to talk sports in courts. He's going to talk about the Florida State Clemson settlement and what it really means and what kind of cost did FSU really spend in this and was it worth it financially. So that's our sports in courts today. And then something fun. Jeff Bacon's going to come by. He is the commissioner of the Atlantic Sun. I thought it was a cool announcement today that the Atlantic Sun basketball tournament, Hays, is going to be played in Jacksonville. It's not going to be home and home. It's been campus sites for a number of years. I was in favor of it moving to neutral sites. And everyone's got a different opinion. Alex Ricker Gilbert, Nick Morrow have differing opinions on that. But I like the fact that it's going to be at an arena, and I like it's going to be here. I think this is becoming sort of the heart of the A-Sun. Two of the teams are here. The commissioner and the conference office is here. And why wouldn't it be, by the way? If you're going to be in that league, if you look at the other cities in it, none of those cities are like this city. So Jeff Bacon stops by today. It'd be good to meet Jeff and to hear all about the conference tournament coming here and about the conference office relocating here. What's kind of the future plans for the league? So it'll be fun having Jeff in studio. So that's at 5 o'clock. We'll certainly talk Gator basketball. They play tonight. Spring football for a lot of teams starts this week. So we are loaded up with stuff. But it'll start with Christian Kirk. That's the big news of the day, the announcement that he is going to be released. So for starters, what's the receiver room today? If there was a depth chart today, I suppose it's Brian Thomas Jr. and Gabe Davis outside and Parker Washington in the slot. That's pretty much it. Now there's some young guys that you hope develop. Devin Duvernay, if he's back, will be – I still think he's more return guy than he is receiver. The young guys, the Elijah Cooks of the world, the guys that you thought were around the corner. But that's pretty much your receiver room now. Your receiver room today, I would think, is Brian Thomas at one outside spot, Gabe Davis at another outside spot, and Parker Washington's your slot, which means quite obviously in free agency in the draft, you are going to have a robust pursuit of other receiving options.
Without a doubt. I mean, obviously you start with Chris Godwin, who Liam Cohen worked with last year in Tampa Bay. So Godwin is still available. I know the Buccaneers are trying their best to retain him, but they're running out of time to be the only team talking to him. So you've got that. You've got obviously the Cooper Kupp connection with Liam Cohen and the Rams, and James Gladstone, obviously. So maybe that's an option. It could be a big move. Maybe they try to take a swing for DK Metcalf, who requested a trade today from the Seahawks. I think he'd be fantastic here. I don't know that it would fit what he's looking for.
What would it cost you?
I mean, top of the line money. I mean, he's got one more year, but you would be trading him and then paying him.
What would it cost you? What pick? If it's only 1 year left on his deal.
Oh yeah. So the
draft compensation.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Wouldn't be significant.
No, I think it'd be significant because he's in the prime of his career. So I mean, I would think something like that. Something that might work is you might be able to just flip first round picks, like have Seattle come up to 5. And have the Jaguars move back to 18, and with maybe something else involved. But
I don't think I'd do that deal.
If you're the Jags,
I wouldn't do that deal. I wouldn't go 5 for 18 to get DK Metcalf, who's got 1 year left on his deal.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like you're not trading for DK Metcalf unless you have talked to his agent,
extend him, right?
And you're going to extend him. But again, that's costly. He would then become. It'd be Trevor Lawrence, probably DK Metcalf, and then Hines Allen in terms of
your most expensive
players. So, but my point is, there's a variety of ways in which they could try to solve this. They could just wait till the draft. I mean, again, you've got a star in Brian Thomas Jr., who I don't think the league is going to counterpunch on. I think he's a star. I don't think we're going to look up and be like, wow, Brian Thomas Jr. is really struggling this year. Teams have figured him out. I don't think that's going to happen. I just think he's too electric. So I think it's safe to bank on him being a guy that can be targeted 150 times if he's healthy or more. So they could decide, we're going to go cheap at that room. We're obviously you're kind of saddled with Gabe Davis. But in terms of Parker Washington's inexpensive. If you wanted to take a receiver in the second round, high second round, third round, somewhere in there, I don't think they'll go receiver at 5, but I don't think it can be completely discounted today. But still, I mean, they could look to solve it in the draft, which would be a cheap option, which again would then allow you to take the cap space that you have, which now after releasing Christian Kirk is $47 million. Yeah. And apply that to both lines.
Yeah, I will tell you, if the best available free agent receivers are 29-year-old Chris Godwin, with whom Liam Cohen obviously is very familiar, 32-year-old Devontae Adams, 31-year-old Amari Cooper. Again, I'm not counting DK Metcalf, who's still under contract. I'm talking about true free agents. If that's probably the best group of wide receiver free agents, I've got based on what based on whether or not they pursue Godwin. I don't know. We're piecing it together based on the fact that he knows Liam. Stephon Diggs is 31. He's not what he once was.
Tyler Lockett got released today, but I don't have a lot of.
And he's older too.
Yeah, interest there.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be totally shocked if after free agency plays out the way it does, Tedrow McMillan's their choice. I wouldn't be surprised. I would. It's probably not what I expect to happen, but there would be stranger things to me than them getting Tedrow McMillan to play opposite Brian Thomas Jr. That would. There's something about that would be kind of fun, So that wouldn't shock me. But again, the first, according to the reports today, the first news of significance regarding the Jaguars roster is that Christian Kirk will not return for the 2025 season. So that's the first news. And again, I've got mixed feelings. I get it. I understand it. I hate to see him go. I think he's a good player. I think he's a good person and a good player.
Do you think it bodes well for Evan Ingram that they have not released that decision
That's
yet?
the next question, isn't it? I hear you. I thought there's a pretty good chance they bring them both back. I'd be very surprised if they let both go, both veteran pass catchers, because then there's really not a veteran pass catcher in sight. Gabe Davis, sort of a veteran, but didn't play very well. Brenton Strange has a lot of upside, but he's hardly a veteran. He's a young guy. Parker Washington's a young guy. Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be in his second year. I would be surprised. Let's put it this way. If they then move on from Evan Ingram also, well, then they are going to go to free agency and get a veteran pass catcher. I don't think there's any – at that point, I don't think there's any question, at least in my mind. So my guess would mean in my mind, I would think because of what I just said, it's less likely they move on from Evan Ingram because of that. But there's also some school of thought that you're young, you're new, you're going to be young and new. So a lot of your veterans are suddenly not safe. I get that thought too. I mean, I don't know. We'll try and find out what we can as we move forward on some of their plans, but I don't know. And they're wise not to show their hand on this. So, but anyway, Christian Kirk gone. Number 13 is no more here in Jacksonville. And again, someone very close to Trevor Lawrence. I can tell you, I've got to believe Trevor Lawrence was, if not involved in this decision, certainly made aware of it. I mean, they're close on so many fronts. They're really good friends. He was his number one receiver until the injuries started. And I do think the injuries have factored into this. I mean, this is a guy that, and it's not his fault, but this is a guy that took on a significant injury in 2 different seasons. And I'll stand my ground on this. They were 8-3, driving for a go-ahead touchdown against the Cincinnati Bengals on a Monday night when Christian Kirk got hurt and was lost for the season, and they were never the same team. I'm not saying that's why, but they were never. 2 years ago, 8-3, on their way to a first possession touchdown. He gets hurt at the beginning of the game, and they were never again the same football team. They weren't. They were for whatever reason, it was a different team the minute 13 went out, and so I think that was part of it too. I got to believe the fact that he was hurt on a regular, not hurt. That's not fair. Hurt twice in his 3 years here. All right, got a lot to talk about today. We'll talk more about Christian Kirk as we move along. We'll talk about college basketball. When we come back, though, Maya Brumley joins us from Sandalwood High School, our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week. That's next on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Your home for Gators Hoops is 1010XL.
Top 10 in the nation, top 3 in the SEC. It's a battle of conference powers tonight in Tuscaloosa, Florida, Alabama. Hear it live at 7 on 1010 AM.
One thing that separates Beard's Diamonds from those other jewelry stores at the town center, no one's paid on commission.
Nobody at Beard's is on commission. That's more of your corporate stores that pay commission.
Beard's owner, John Lupo, says that means no pressure, no hidden agenda, no extra markups.
And you're getting a better deal. You're not paying the corporate commission. You're not paying the salesperson's commission. But if they're paying their salespeople commission, you're starting off in the hole.
And that's why you feel like a number at most jewelry stores, because it's all about making the sale, but not at Beard's.
Because it's a corporate atmosphere and they want to sell you what they want to sell you. We're here to sell you what you want. Our salespeople can do whatever they want to make sure that the customer is happy.
So relax. At Beard's Diamonds, they have all the things you want, like quality education, selection, warranties, and none of the stuff you don't want, like pressure and tacked on commissions.
Nobody's making an extra 5 or 10% on Beard's customers.
Beard's Diamonds, the town center's only locally owned jeweler.
We sell better merchandise, better product for less money, guaranteed.
Tax season is here, and your refund can go further at Big Chief Tire. Frank Frangie here. Put the extra cash to work by investing in your vehicle, whether it's overdue maintenance, brake repairs, or new tires. Their skilled technicians will help you get the most out of every dollar. With 5 Jacksonville locations, fair prices, and trusted service, Big Chief Tire has everything you need to hit the road with confidence. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 today. Big Chief Tire, keeps Jax rolling.
Here's Linda Beaver.
At Beaver Toyota, we believe your experience should be more than just buying a car. It should be a lifetime of confidence, care, and trust. We're proud to offer a lifetime warranty, lifetime oil changes, and lifetime customer service. We're not just here to sell you a car. We're here to establish a lifelong relationship that you can always count on. It's simple. You deserve the best and shouldn't settle for less. Visit Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine, where we're ready to give you peace of mind for a lifetime. We're here to wow you.
This is Mike Lynch, PGA Golf Professional. Take it from me. If you're dealing with an orthopedic issue, talk to the doctors at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where you're treated like a pro.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros. Thanks to all of you who have allowed us to be part of your recovery. Call us at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists if you ever have a need.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Don't miss the Players Championship, March 11th through 16th at TPC Sawgrass. This can't-miss event features a variety of activities for every fan to enjoy, from delicious bites to the Sawgrass Splash. There are endless fan enhancements that will make for a memorable experience. Plus, watch the top PGA Tour players, including back-to-back champion Scottie Scheffler, take on the iconic stadium course featuring the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Get to know positions and players. The 1010XL Ultimate Draft Guide is brought to you by Blue Haven Pools, the #1 pool builder in Jacksonville. Follow rankings and roundtables as the draft takes shape. Go to 1010XL.com/2025 draft guide to get yours.
Your hole-in-one for men's health is Ackerman Urology. With offices in Mandarin, Middleburg, Rural Golf Village, and the beaches, Ackerman will get you on par for any prostate conditions and sexual vitality. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town. Setting the standard in our hometown. Quality service, the best around. Coolidge is the cat that cares about your heating and about your air. Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town.
Listen up, poker players. March is heating up at all 3 Best Bet locations. The Bad Beat jackpots are now uncapped, soaring to new heights. So don't miss your chance to win big. Plus, get in on the $42,000 weekend windfall, featuring $1,000 high hands every Friday and $500 high hands on Saturdays. And starting March 3rd, the Race to a Race promotion is back. For all the details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Hey, let's go!
And now, this week's Scholar Athlete of the Week. Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 on 1010XL.
It is time for our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week. It is Maya Brumley. She's here from Sandalwood. Congratulations. How are you?
Good. How are you guys today?
We're doing great. Thank you for coming in. So you play lacrosse.
Yes.
And you told us a fun story during the break. How did you get started in lacrosse? How did it come about?
I was actually in art class in 10th grade, and one of my best friends, she convinced me to start playing club ball, and then I fell in love with it. And ever since then, I've been playing for 3 years. So
yeah, and now you're the team captain.
Yeah.
So it must have taken.
Yeah.
What position do you play, and what, how did you gravitate towards playing that?
So, I play defense, and, honestly, I've just always been, a pretty aggressive player. And it's just been fun, and, it's fun to be on the field and hype up the team and just play a sport that's, you just contact and stuff like that. So,
But you had never played before?
No, never.
Yeah, okay. Had you played any other sports? Or did you...
I was a cheerleader in middle school.
So you go from cheerleader to lacrosse. That's very cool stuff. Well, you're involved in a lot of stuff. And tell us about the Asian Student Union, the Journalism Club, Senior Women, obviously a lot of stuff. And tell us a little bit about your photography habit. I love that.
So my mom, she always was a photographer. Like, that's like her little side quest or whatever. And so I just wanted to take an elective since I'm pretty much done with my credits. And I was like, why not take a photography credit? And I was like, okay, well, it's fun. And then I was in some art shows and stuff like that. But that's pretty much it.
Did you really like it?
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Really fun. Pretty cool.
Do you have a favorite game from your lacrosse career that you could tell us?
Last week we just beat our rivals 13-8, and it was pretty tense game, but we won and we pulled through, and it was a really team bonding game, and the girls, we all had fun.
Who's your rival?
Atlanta Coast.
Okay, very cool. Yep, those two schools are very close together. So,
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about afterwards. Where do you go to college? What are your hopes and plans in college?
I have to go to a top 20 school like Duke or Boston University for sports journalism, and hopefully I can do that and pursue something in the sports journalism field later in my life.
Very cool. Let's start with college. Why Duke and Boston? There's a lot of good schools. Why'd you pick those two?
They have like really good sports teams, and like if I pursue that, and I could like intern and work with the teams and like get some experience in those fields. So
very cool.
Is there somebody in sports journalism at ESPN that you sort of would like to model your career after?
Probably Erin Andrews.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always just saw her and I was like, wow, that's so cool. Like a woman on the field. Like you don't really see that all the time. And so I was like, wow, that's super cool.
Is that what you've always kind of wanted to do?
No. I wanted to be a pediatrician.
You did?
Yeah.
Now, when did that change?
So my dad actually passed away a couple 2 years ago, and he loved sports and he loved football. So I was always like, I want to do something that honors him, and so that's why I kind of got into it. And I was like, dang, like I should really change it because I'm passionate about sports and like I love football, and so I was like, I'm gonna do that. And so I just
that's fantastic. And honor your dad. That's great.
Who's your favorite football team?
The Jags.
All right.
Well, they're mine too. They're kind of all of ours. Are you excited about the Jags now moving forward?
I hope so. This next season. They got it.
We have a chance, right?
Yeah, we have a chance.
Okay, very good. Well, Duke and Boston University. I told you this during the break that Boston University, the campus is right near Fenway Park.
Yeah, great opportunities.
So get in there. So let's get accepted, and then let's start doing stuff and covering the Red Sox right out of the gate.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Maya Brumley from Sandalwood, our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week. Congratulations. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
All right. Maya is going to pursue a career in sports journalism and sports broadcast, and I got a hunch we're going to see Maya on some sidelines. You got a hunch?
Absolutely.
I got a hunch we're going to see Maya on some sidelines. She's got the right personality, and she really wants to do it. I think we're going to see her. She may be the next Laura Rutledge or the next Erin Andrews. I wouldn't be surprised at all. All right. Let's again, the big story of the day today. Christian Kirk will be let go by the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll talk about what that means for him. By the way, is there any doubt in your mind that Christian Kirk moves on to continue to have a good career in the NFL? I think he's a good player.
I would think so. Yeah. I mean, he's 28, so not as much wear and tear. Even he is coming off the two injuries, but again, that wouldn't concern me because neither one of them are injuries that should affect his quickness, explosiveness. We're not talking about ACLs, Achilles. So, I mean, I think, yes, that he's going to stack up really well with this crop of available free agents, particularly, like you said, you can't put DK Metcalf in that because you got to trade for DK Metcalf. Of the guys that are street free agents, I think Christian Kirk has a good resume. So I hope he was always so great to deal with. I hope he ends up going to a place. I think he's going to have multiple offers, but I hope it's somebody that's, got a quarterback that can showcase him, and he's not going somewhere like, the Giants where they don't really know, who's going to be throwing him or the Raiders, something like that. Hopefully Christian hopefully it's an NFC team with a good quarterback, so the Jaguars don't have to deal with him very often. But yeah, I think Christian Kirk is going to have suitors, and I would be surprised if he doesn't get one of the bigger deals in terms of the guys that are currently available in the free agent market.
One of the reasons he might have been a little bit expendable, and I'm a big Christian Kirk fan too, Hays, like you are. He's a good player, and it's hard to move on from good players without a good plan. But one of the reasons I do think he's a little bit expendable is I do think they found something in Parker Washington. I think Parker Washington plays like Christian. He's built sort of similar, that 5'9", 5'10", 5'11", kind of more broad guy. He's not as long and angular. He's more stocky. He's got the knack as a slot receiver. And I thought Parker, of all the things that didn't go so well as the season moved on last year, I thought the development and the emergence, if you will, of Parker Washington was pretty good. So I think I'm not saying Parker Washington is as good a player as Christian Kirk, but I think there's something there. I think the fact I don't know that you do this if you didn't have him on your team. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I think that's got to play into it. I think, honestly, where I think we're going to be in 2 months when the free agency is behind us and the draft is behind us, I get a sense this team's going to be hardly recognizable to what it was a year before.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Now, some of it, they can only do so much, but of what they can do, I have a feeling it's going to basically be a bloodletting. And I don't have a problem with that. They've lost 18 of their last 23. Traditionally, the organization hasn't, had a great run of success. So I can see Liam Cohen and James Gladstone wanting to have as much fresh blood as they can have in this program and sort of having this vibe of we're all sort of building this together. Yes, there will be some players, Trevor, Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon, Tyson Campbell, guys like that. There's certain guys that have been disappointments that they can't cut. They're going into their second year, like Gabe Davis, guys like that. But of the guys that, that they can either move on from or supplant, I think the team is going to have a radically different look. And I think today was the first domino in that.
Yeah, and by the way,
I now am not sure Evan Ingram is safe.
Yeah. I'm not either. I wasn't convinced either one of them were safe. I hate to see you move on from guys that are as good of players as those two guys. And if you asked me to guess now, I would guess Evan Ingram's going to be on the team, but we'll see. But back to your point, look, you can blame the coach all you want or the coaching all you want. When you've lost, it's a players' league still. And when you win, it's because you have really good players. This is no disrespect to Nick Sirianni, but the Eagles won in large part because they have really good players. Okay, and when you lose 18 of 23, that means there's some areas where you don't have good players. That doesn't mean the coaching. If the coaching had been different, you wouldn't have won a few more games. But when you lose 18 of 20, to your point, 18 of your last 23 times you put on your uniform, there's probably the need for a bit of a roster overhaul, which is kind of the point. I don't disagree with that, so it'll be interesting to see the way these things.
And it's interesting because Liam at his introductory press conference was like, "I don't think this is a 4-win team," but I do wonder as he's gotten more in depth with it, if his thought process has come around a little bit, and James Gladstone as well, who knows what he thought, but in terms of the talent from last year, and to your point, was it the talent? Was it the coaching? And so I think you're getting ready to see a roster revamp. I don't think it'll be a rebuild because I think they feel like they're not saying we need to cut Christian Kirk today because we need to rebuild. I think they feel like we need to cut Christian Kirk today because there's another receiver out there, whether it's free agency or in the draft, that makes us better. And that's where I think a lot of these decisions on veteran players, it's going to be like, can we get better here? Yes. Okay. Well, then let's move on. Whatever that looks like, whether that's cutting the player, whether that's benching the player, or whether that's trying to trade the player even for a ham sandwich, just what do we need to do to get one iota better at each spot?
And I do believe, to that end, everything we've gained just from watching these guys, watching James Gladstone, talking to him. I had James Gladstone and Liam both on the air, and Tony Baselli on the air a week ago at the Combine, looking in their eyes, Hays, listening to what they had to say. It's going to be an aggressive pursuit. They're going to try and build this thing and win very quickly. Look, it wasn't you're right. Liam said it wasn't a 4-win team. I agree with that. To your point a minute ago, if he did a deeper dive, it probably wasn't a 12-win team that was just coached to 4 wins. It was probably a team that has some areas. So I agree with you. We'll see what happens. It's going to be fun to watch. What happens and again, it starts on Monday. I'll be very interested to see how active and how quickly the Jags move when free agency begins. There's a part of me that thinks it won't take very long. There's a part of me that thinks that We'll have something to talk about on Monday's show. I just get that hunch. We'll take a break. FSU's got something to talk about. FSU and Clemson came to an agreement with the ACC where the rules changed a little bit, but they don't wind up leaving the league, even though most of us thought they were going to. There's a lot of reasons for that. What are the legalities? What kind of money did FSU spend legally? Was it worth it? What legalities remain if they try and get out of the league after 2030? Brett Hastings breaks it all down. Sports and Courts are next on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
For many, it's the happiest place on earth.
At 17 in Players Championship.
Get live Southeast Orthopedic Specialist leaderboard updates.
Covered by Universal Roof and Contracting.
Cool Cats Heating and Cooling.
And Beaver Toyota.
On 1010XL.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. And if you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or catered desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
Reclaim a pain-free life with Rebound Rehab. If you've been injured or simply feeling the effects of an active life, you can rely on Rebound Rehabilitation to get you back in the game. Sitting on the sidelines isn't any fun. Trust Rebound Rehab's team of trained physical therapists to get you back up to speed and feeling full again. Now more convenient than ever. 11 locations to serve you, including new offices in Riverside across from St. Vincent's, Point Meadows, and Middleburg. Just log on to reboundrehab.com to see all they've got to offer.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. So how do you decide? With so many messages on air, I know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. When you've been injured in an accident, you need help from someone you know, someone you can trust. Harrell & Harrell, a name you know, a name you trust. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
The three words I'm about to say are the ones everyone wants to hear. Ready, set, go. To the Ready, Set, Go sales event going on now at Arlington Toyota. Mia here. The Arlington Toyota lot is jam-packed with inventory. There's over 800 vehicles to choose from. And as if saving big on a new Toyota wasn't enough, you also get Arlington's lifetime warranty and 60-day exchange with your purchase. Let's go and shop the Ready, Set, Go sales event at Arlington Toyota now through March 31st in person on Atlantic Boulevard, just a quarter-mile east of 295 or arlingtontoyota.com.
Did you know your pup could take 30,000 to 60,000 steps a day at Dogtopia of Jacksonville Beach Boulevard? That's a whole lot of tail wagging fun with their best furry friends. At Dogtopia, they turn playtime into exercise, learning, and socialization in their off-leash, open play environment. Dogs build confidence, reduce anxiety, and stay happy and healthy, all while having the time of their lives. Visit Dogtopia of Jacksonville Beach Boulevard today.
Get a grip on this year's free agent class.
Reliable, durable, tough, and a good leader.
Follow the free agency frenzy. Trained by Roland Reach Plumbing and Superior Fence and Rail. Roll through the offseason with AA Automotive and 1010XL.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, buddy, you look worried.
Worried? I'm apoplectic!
You're what now?
I'm freaking out, Jason. Stupid water heater crapped out, so I haven't showered since Thursday. I start smelling a little funky, blow my big corporate job interview tomorrow. I'll end up settling for some dead-end career selling spatulas on the internet.
Dude, stay cool.
There's nothing cool about a cold shower, Jason. I mean, I know how that sounds, but...
Bueller Air and Plumbing can get a new water heater installed today. The day you call. You could be smelling fresh again by dinner time.
Wait, you can do that?
Put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Is that cooler?
Oh, yeah.
Well, life moves pretty fast. If you spend much more time smelling like this, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 15th.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Get your Irish up. The first St. Patrick Parade was right here in St. Augustine in the year 1601. Join the fun Saturday, March the 8th at 10 a.m. Be sure and wear your green proudly. More at CelticParade.com. Sponsored by St. John's Kelly, PBC.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Look at you dancing in there. I didn't know you knew the Celtic music.
Oh, yeah. River dance?
Yeah.
I know. I've got clogs. I can do all this.
Oh, there's no question you can. That music is playing because we've got a cool little giveaway. Speaking of Celtic music, JJ, what do you got?
I do. A pair of tickets to the Celtic Music and Heritage Festival. That is March 8th and 9th this weekend in downtown St. Augustine.
There you go. Call. What caller did you say?
Let's go caller number 4 right now.
Caller 4-641-1010. In the meantime, let's see. We dial up our friend Brett Hastings. Let's give him a call right now. JJ, fire it up. Okay.
Now time for Sports and Courts, legal issues in the sports world with Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Hit back with Hastings.
All right, I jumped the gun on him. We're gonna have him one moment as soon as we get him on the phone. It's still an interesting storyline that we've all talked about. Florida State has made its decision and Clemson, I guess they made the decision together to essentially agree to a settlement with the ACC, meaning they're staying in the league. They get more of a payout, which is kind of a good thing. And so they're going to make more money than they would have had they not done the deal. But was it really worth it? Let's bring in Brett Hastings, who joins us by phone right now. This is Sports and Courts. Brett, how you doing?
Pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Trying to make it over there. It's stuck out here on Beach Boulevard, but it is what it is.
We'll do it by phone. That's not a problem. Let me ask you. When you read the whole deal here, when you said the way it settled, were you surprised by it? Was it worth it for FSU? If you had been their legal counsel, would you have liked the way it played out? How do you see the whole thing?
So I didn't get to see the actual complete settlement agreement, got to see what's been reported, but, feel very confident that those things and those terms are true. I think it's an absolute heck of a deal for FSU. Absolute win. We're going to go ahead and move them up to 3-10, right? Like, this is a really good W. So.
Okay. Interesting. Expound on that.
Why do you see it that way?
Why is that?
So you got to remember, I don't know how the challenge would work out on it, but before, these media rights, if they left, were actually going to continue to be owned by the conference, right? That's over, okay? In the short term, something that none of us expected was that FSU is going to be able to actually make more money right now because they're going to change the way that the money's distributed under the deal, and the teams that have the greatest viewership, right, are going to get more money. So that's going to make the ACC deal a lot closer to what's out there with the Big Ten and the SEC in the short term. So they're going to get more money now. That's something that we never thought FSU or Clemson would be able to avail themselves to. And let's be real. Who's going to generate more money under that deal? Clemson and FSU, they're going to be the programs that are going to go and, generate more viewership, and it's going to come back as more revenue back to them. The other thing is you got to remember that the TV deals that are out there are all going to be redone in 2030 or so, right? The existing Big Ten, the existing SEC deals. Nobody was going to move in the next year or two, but we knew before the lawsuit it cost $165 million to get out of the ACC, and you wouldn't have media rights. Right now, if you want to get out, it'd cost you $165 million, but it's going to start going down every year by $18 million. And in 2030 or so, when all of the TV deals are going to get redone, you could get out for $75 million. So it's already cheaper to get out. They're going to get more money in the short term, okay? And they're going to have their media rights when and if they lose. So I think it's, a fantastic win for them. And now they know, right? Now the Big Ten knows. Now any other suitors, the SEC, whoever it would be, would know, okay, this is what it takes to get out of the league, and this is what, what we're going to need now. Well, they weren't going to go in the next year or two. They were probably going to go in a couple of years if they were going to go. So they're seeing more revenue now, and the price of getting out has gone down. So, yeah, I think it's great for FSU.
I think those are all great points. I think schools like Miami, North Carolina are big winners in this as well, Brett, because they didn't have to spend anything, at least to my knowledge, on fighting this case. And I think the revenue distribution model that incorporates ratings could absolutely help both schools.
Absolutely. I think, look at Duke, look at North Carolina on the basketball side. They're generating more money. So, yeah, they didn't have to go poke the bear, and they're going to get all of the honey.
How much do you figure FSU spent in legal fees? What would your guess? What would your guess be? From the minute it started 2 years ago.
2 years ago, $250,000, $750,000.
Okay, all in.
Maybe $1 million.
Okay, so if I would say now, if that's the case, then it is a win. Why did I think it was way more than that? I just had to feel.
There's so much that I don't know. Now, one of the things, too, that I think the ACC was very desirous, they didn't want there to be a determination on the grant of rights, right? And you know what? No, you're right. That number, we got to triple it, okay? I'm thinking state court in Florida, but really there's 3 lawsuits going on out there, right? Florida State wasn't paying for what was going on in the South Carolina Clemson version of the lawsuit, but they were a party to what was going on in North Carolina. So, but it's still probably, $1 million to $2 million. But look at what they got today, It was a heck of an investment,
If they go from, I'll say this, Hays and Brett, if they go from a deal that was going to pay them, I don't know, $50 million per school, and now they make 58 and somebody else makes 43 because of that, and it's not that black and white, but you get the point. Well, then it was absolutely worth it. If the difference is that significant, it was absolutely worth it, because that's what they're going for. One other thing I wonder about, Brett, is, and this is the
and here's the thing, though, and not just to interrupt you, they got their media rights back. That's why it's worth it.
Well, they in 2030 they can get them back for less. That's what you mean, right? They don't.
No. As I understand it, the buyout's less to go to 2030, right? At the time you would get out. But if they were going to leave before, right, not litigate, not make a determination as to the viability of the grant of rights, they'd pay $165 million and get out and not have their media rights.
Oh, I see.
And that was never going to be economically feasible, right? They could wait till they go and then come out and have their media rights. What conference wants a big-time program and team like FSU and doesn't have the media rights? So I think the lawsuit was a winner. And then to go to what you say, to get more money, in the next couple of years, I never anticipated that. So, yeah, I think it was a slam dunk for Florida State, Clemson, and the others that will benefit.
And the final thing is, we know this now. We now know that it's over. and it's probably over for at least 5 years. And then by then, we'll look at the construct of college athletics. Does the SEC and Big Ten still look the way they do now? To Hays' point, he's made it along. By then, does the SEC and Big Ten have their own league? And then FSU can decide what to do then. But the good thing is, I think for all involved, it's over and we move forward. Great work as always, Brett. Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm, that is Sports and Courts. Thank you, Brett.
You got it.
All right, so Brett Hastings weighing in. So what we know now is it's over. It's over for 5 years. FSU will make more, and Clemson will make more money. What I do wonder about, I assume
they should make more money.
Yeah, you would assume they'll make more money.
I wouldn't put up any more 2 and 10s.
Yeah,
and expect to win a bunch of ratings contests.
But I will tell you that they were up until last year, in the last 10, 20 years, whatever the number was, they were the fourth or fifth most watched team in college football. I read that a number of times.
Oh, there's no doubt. They have a tremendous brand.
What I do wonder about is, this said football, the way the thing reads, the way the agreement reads, is 60% of the dollars will be based on who draws better ratings in football and basketball. Does basketball play this at all, or is football?
It's a minor part. It does factor into the variable, but not nearly. It's probably 80% football,
so it's
20%
really about football
basketball.
Because basketball, FSU's probably got one of the lowest viewerships in the league.
Right.
But football's where the money is, and and again, they are one of the
if they get back to being just even competent,
right,
they'll make money on this.
Yeah,
because so many people are interested in Florida State football.
The brand.
Without a doubt. So it's just, but they've just got to work their way out of the slump that they're in, and they should. But that would be the only thing that would hold them back, is if they just continue to struggle, because no one's going to be, obviously, no one's going to be watching you if you're not playing meaningful football in October.
Yeah, and so that's right. But their brand will always be, other than Clemson, a more noticeable football brand than anybody else in the league.
I think it's going to be interesting, because I think Belichick, it being at North Carolina, let's say he stays there 3 years. He's going to have success. I mean, you'll never convince – he didn't go to a school that doesn't get athletes. North Carolina attracts athletes. And you'll never convince me that he's not going to outcoach this league 3 times over. So, I think North Carolina now if he's a failure, they'll only get the ratings bump for like 1 year. The novelty will wear off. And, because North Carolina traditionally has not been a football brand that the nation locks in on. But I think that'll change with Belichick, particularly if he's successful and stays there for 3 or 4 years. Miami is back. They sputtered at the end of this past year, but they've built it in the trenches. They get, another big-time portal quarterback addition in Carson Beck. Miami is, again, how do you become a team that everybody watches? It's not just your fan base. It's the fans that hate you that are watching you as well. And Miami has that. Just like Florida State has it, just like a lot of the SEC schools have it. So, I mean, that's where I think it's a little bit more competitive. Yeah, I mean, for Virginia, I'm sorry, Virginia, you're probably going to make the least that you've made in your time with the ACC from a percentage standpoint. Duke will be helped with basketball, and maybe, Louisville's a school that I could see if they can keep Braum. Their basketball is coming back. So I think Louisville's a school. So I don't think it's quite as simple as Clemson and Florida State are going to dominate this ratings variable. I think they'll be strong in it, because of course they'll be strong in it. They're the two, arguably the two best brands. But I do think they're going to have some competition. And again, now that everybody is going to be paying their players $20 million, do you see a little bit more parity in the ACC on its way? And we'll just have to wait and see on that.
All right, we will change gears in a minute. The Atlantic Sun Conference is now based in Jacksonville. Jeff Bacon, the commissioner of the Atlantic Sun, lives here now as the league is here. And the announcement was made today that the basketball tournament beginning next season will no longer be on campus sites, but rather be here in Jacksonville, a neutral site right here in town, which is a cool thing. We take a break. When we come back, Jeff will be in the studio with us to talk all about the Atlantic Sun, where it's headed, the big move with the basketball tournament, and a whole lot more. That's next. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harold and Harold studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
It was a place of brotherhood, camaraderie, love, and trust.
The Gators celebrate as national champions.
Being a Gator, it's unique. It's a drive. It's a passion that is relentless.
1010XL, home of the Florida Gators.
This is Hays Carlyon for Physician Guided Weight Loss. I'm down over 25 pounds already thanks to Physician Guided Weight Loss. I feel great, and it's all thanks to them. Their amazing technology, fast setup, friendly staff, and proven results sold me. They can help you too, and it's affordable with firm pricing. No rising costs as you go. If you're like me and looking to get a leaner body with the warm weather coming, call my friends at Physician Guided Weight Loss at 257-4344. That's 257-4344.
Lauren Brooks here. At Hodges Mazda, they are proud of their solid reputation in the Jacksonville community. As your hometown Mazda dealer, their high customer service standards and their huge inventory of new and used cars provide their customers a consistently first-rate car buying experience. Their professional non-commissioned sales team puts your best interest first without exception. And all new vehicle purchases include the Hodges Mazda Protection Package. Visit them online at HodgesMazda.com or stop in today to learn more and discover the Hodges Mazda difference.
Slacker plumbing.
Yeah, hey, listen, I need a plumber over here right now.
Yeah, well, we don't have any openings for about 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yep.
I was just changing the shower head and the water line broke and it's flying everywhere.
All right, 1 week.
What if I throw you an extra $100 to come now?
What's the address?
It's 205.
Oh, I guess he changed his mind.
If you've got a leak that can't wait a week, call Roland Reich Plumbing and fix your plumbing problems fast. PlumbingJacksonville.com.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
Mia O'Brien here for Pro Jacks Roofing. Here at the Superstation, we talk a lot about pros. Pro football, pro baseball, pro basketball, pro sports. But if you want a true pro when it comes to your roof, you should call Mike with Pro Jacks Roofing. Mike's been in the roofing biz for well over 25 years, and when you call, you don't get a recording, you get Mike himself. Find Mike's cell on ProJacksRoofingFL.com. That's ProJacksRoofingFL.com. Don't rely on the third string option. Call in the starter with Mike at Pro Jacks Roofing.
The Mr. Chubby's Bracket Challenge is coming. Following Selection Sunday, go to 1010XL.com, print your bracket, and bring it to any Mr. Chubby Swings during Live Madness games. Get a free Miller Lite for every game you pick right. Top prize, Saturday passes to Welcome to Rockville.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, why is it that when you look at how long a store has been in business, that it always seems to be the stores like Underwood's that sell fine quality that have been around the longest?
Frank, that's a question that really doesn't get asked a lot, but it should be. There are a number of reasons, but probably the biggest is because of the endorsements our longtime customers and their pieces of jewelry have given us through the years. You see, when you sell really fine quality jewelry, that piece will last longer and always stay beautiful. It might stay in the same family for generations, and through those years of wear, a lot of compliments will be made and a lot of people will be told where the piece of jewelry came from. You see, at a store like Underwood's, it's our stated goal to be the best jeweler in the South, not the biggest, so everything we do and carry has to help move us toward that goal. And ultimately, it's the satisfied customers wearing fine quality jewelry that have kept Underwood's in Jacksonville since 1928.
Underwood's in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Don't miss the Players' Championship, March 11th through 16th at TPC Sawgrass. This can't-miss event features a variety of activities for every fan to enjoy, from delicious delicious bites to the Sawgrass Splash, there are endless fan enhancements that will make for a memorable experience. Plus, watch the top PGA Tour players, including back-to-back champion Scottie Scheffler, take on the iconic stadium course featuring the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Hicken here. Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. This month, get one room Zero Resified starting at $53. Take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com and tell them 1010XL sent you.
Zero Res.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text ORDER to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text ORDER to 42424. That's ORDER to 42424.
I'm Max Fink here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. Miami quarterback and current favorite to be the first overall selection in the NFL Draft talked to NBC's Pro Football Talk at the Combine last week. At one time being a zero-star recruit to now future NFL quarterback, Ward talked about the confidence he has in himself to start week 1 of this season, given the leader he is and the journey he's been on.
My journey coming through high school, all the way to college, me having to actually learn the game of football has helped me, be this confident as the player I am. And I just think the way I approach the game, when I get a chance to throw the football, I want to make sure everybody remembers. I'm not a big rah-rah guy when it comes to my teammates, but I hold people accountable when the time needs to be done. Taking notes, watching the film, then doing a lot of walkthroughs.
It's 74 degrees at 4:59. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Hey, we welcome you back to the program. Frank Frangie along with Hays Carlyon, JJ LaSelva. And what a pleasure to welcome in Jeff Bacon, the commissioner of the Atlantic Sun Conference, which has very big news. First of all, welcome aboard. How are you?
Thanks, fellas. I'm doing great. It's been a really exciting day here. I'm happy to cap it off with all of you.
Yeah. So, and I'm going to get to the tournament here in a minute. Okay.
Yep.
But let me start with you for a second. The league office moved here.
It did.
How did that all come about, Jeff? How did we look up at, which was cool for us. We have 2 schools here. We're very close to the schools. We do a lot of shows from both schools, so it's a big deal to us. How did that all happen?
It's cool for us, too. I got this job not even 2 years ago, so I'm still a little bit of a rookie here. But one of the first things we identified with our presidents, and by the way, right, college athletics is run by university presidents still,
right.
Is we really needed to find a home that was more accessible for our membership and for us as a staff. So we were in Atlanta, Georgia at the time, and not a lot of members around there. So we had to find a place that we could be closer to some members, access our coaches and our student athletes. And Jacksonville was a natural fit with 2 schools here and the sunshine and the beaches.
Yeah, perfect way to be. Place to be.
Absolutely. And tell us about the big news, having the conference tournaments now here in Jacksonville at the arena.
Yeah, we're incredibly excited about that. I mean, a 2-year exhaustive process from start to finish to make sure we found the right home for us. So to announce today that we're moving our men's and our women's basketball tournaments to VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena here in Jax in 2026 is a culminating event of a heck of a lot of time, a heck of a lot of work, and we're just really convinced that we are in the right place. So we're excited.
Tell us a little bit about you said it was a long process.
Yeah.
Votes back and forth. Some people want the campuses. Was it Jacksonville versus other cities? I think Louisville was involved from what I'm told. Or was it more campus versus neutral site? Was it all of it?
It's all of it, right?
Yeah.
And you think about the layers of these kind of decisions, which are really important decisions. Do you want to be at a neutral site or do you want to be on campus? If you want to be at a neutral site, where do you want to be? What's the right city? What's the right venue? What's the right hotel situation? What's the right weather?
Yeah.
You know, how many teams can we get there? And that's another question. How many teams are we sending? Fortunately, we're sending all 12 of our institutions to the tournament, which I'm really excited about that as well. But all of those factors are deliberated at a really high level with our athletic directors and our presidents. They spend a ton of time on that. And do you have disagreements along the way? Of course you do, right? You've got 12 people in a room trying to agree on something. But what's spectacular about our conference, the Atlantic Sun, is our people are really well aligned. So landing where we landed was really not as difficult a decision as you might think. It just took us a heck of a long time to get there.
And I think it's great that all 12 are getting the trip, because the current format, with it being, and it makes sense with it being home and home, 2 schools don't go at all, correct? And then you've got 4 schools that are playing a game on neither one of them, their courts. They're sort of at a neutral because they're going to be the road team in the final round. But what a fantastic opportunity, even for teams that haven't had the season that they hoped for, to have the chance to advance to the NCAA tournament, but also to have that reward of, okay, we're going to get to go to a city and have that experience.
Yeah, you said it really well, right? Our student athletes have something to look forward to. Even if you had a tough season, you got a last chance at the end of the year to turn it around or make some noise. So for them, it's exciting. I think for our fan bases, especially outside of Jacksonville, the opportunity to know you're going to Jacksonville in March. You may not know what day you're playing yet, but you know you're going. So you can plan, you can budget, you can look at flights, you can get down here. So that helps a lot. And everybody's going to be here. So we're going to really be able to celebrate Atlantic Sun basketball as a family, which is just awesome.
You worked at the MAC for 19 years. You were there a long time. That's the ultimate mid-major conference. It's the ultimate. I mean, it really is. And it's a very good conference.
Yep.
With that as your background, or a backdrop to the conversation, I suppose, tell me how you feel about the health of this league. You've been here a few years now. This league changes members a lot, which has been hard.
Yep.
How do you feel about what you've seen now that you've been able to oversee it for a while?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll even go back in time, Frank, a minute, because I was at a great place. I was at the MAC for 19 years and very happy with what I was doing there. And it was going to take, honestly, a special place to get me to pick up and move. I lived in Northeast Ohio for 45 years, never moved anywhere. So it was going to take a special place. And as I learned more about this conference, it didn't take long to recognize that that's exactly what this is. It's a special place. Yeah, there's been membership transition. That's true. That's a fact. But at the end of the day, that's happening other places too. We're not special here or different here. The MAC was probably the special or different place in terms of membership change, although now they're seeing that themselves. So it's everywhere. It's just a part of the industry right now. And that's not a scary thing to me. So that didn't preclude me from having interest in the job, obviously. And what I love about our schools is they may look a little bit different from each other on paper, but at the heart of what they do, the way they think about athletics, the way they think about their institutions, the rate that they're growing, their enrollments are going up, et cetera, they really look the same. And so for the last couple of years, we've just talked about the strength of this league. We talk about ourselves being the destination because we are in so many ways. Our states are growing, our cities are growing, our campuses are growing. People want to be here, right? And that's really brought us together. And so I love where we're at. I feel good about where we're at. And this announcement today with basketball, I think, is just another step in the direction of solidifying our league, keeping our people together, giving us something to celebrate as a family, as I mentioned before. And those things are important when you think about membership.
Do you think you guys will stay at 12? Like, is that...
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, we're always... I like to say, I tell our coaches, membership for a commissioner is like the transfer portal for a basketball coach.
Yeah, I get it.
You're always in it, right? And so there's always something happening. So could we expand? I would say if the right opportunity were to come along that added value, that's what we talk about, right? We want to add value and folks that look and talk and feel like us, we would absolutely entertain that and explore it, but we're not out there hunting to grow.
My opinion, I never felt, and it's just one knucklehead's opinion, I never felt Liberty fit.
Yeah.
Their budget was so much different than everybody else's. But I get a hunch the 12 fit now. They fit each other. Is that a good read? Do you agree?
It's a great read. I think you're spot on. Yeah, it's a great read. I mean, you're talking about an institution that from a budget perspective alone was just so out of whack with the rest of the league, right? And now, do we have budget differences? Of course we do. Every league does. But our bandwidth has shrunk tremendously, so that now if you look at our institutions on the P&L sheet, right, they look very similar.
What makes JU and UNF such a big member of the conference for you guys?
Well, one, they've been here for a while. You just talked about transition. So you talk about some members that have actually had a long, I think JU came in 98, and I want to say UNF in the mid-2000s. So they've been here for a long time. So they've been through the battles. They've seen the league change over those years. So having, especially the presidents at those two institutions, Moez Lamayam and Tim Cost are just two of the best in the world of higher education, honestly. And so what they've done with their universities is awesome. What they've done for the league has been tremendous, and they're great leaders for us moving forward. So to be here and have them in our backyard and have them as resources in the community, in fact, the role that both of those individuals played in bringing the tournament to Jacksonville should not be overlooked. President Cost and President Lamayam were instrumental in helping get the championships here.
I didn't know that. That's good. But yeah. I applaud you. Tim and Moaz are good friends of mine, so I have a high opinion of both of them.
Yeah.
And they're good dudes now. I mean, they're smart. They know what they're doing, and we're proud of both schools. How do you feel about, again, you were in a good league. How do you feel about the basketball in the league? I think it's a pretty good league. I mean, watching, and we go live from a lot of the games at both places. We're at UNF a lot, and our show is at UNF a lot and at JU a lot. So I think it's a pretty good league. I think this year it's a particularly good league.
I think it's a great league. I mean, I'll give you a couple quick hits here. One, go back and look at the non-conference W's that our league has racked up this year. I mean, ACC schools, Big East schools, Atlantic 10 schools, SEC schools. We're knocking those people off. And not just a one-off, on multiple occasions. The top of our league, the top half of our league in particular, is spectacular. You all saw how tight the race was this year in the tournament for the seeds. I mean, we've got 5-6 teams that could win this thing, and it's not because they're all just mediocre and the same. They're all really, really good basketball teams with an incredible amount of talent. We've got schools in our league that are transitioning, and they have a harder lift, right? You join Division I. West Georgia's in their first year Division I. It's going to take them some time to build. Queens, it's taken them some time, but look what they're doing in just year 3 of Division I. Here they are in our semifinals tomorrow night. So we've got a great top half of the league. We've got what I would consider or call a really growing quickly bottom half of the league that I expect to just get better and better. And I think our league stacks up against, outside of the powers that be. If you take the rest of the collegiate athletics world, Division I, I'd stack us up against anybody.
And I think when you look at it, it's reflected in these projections for the NCAA tournament, where you see the ASUN champion is a 13 seed.
And deservedly so.
Yeah.
Deservedly so, right? And those brackets are usually pretty accurate, right?
Absolutely.
So let's tell the committee to pay attention to that.
It's also often a multi-bid league in baseball. I think people realize that it's not necessarily a one-bid league in baseball. We've seen JU 2 or 3 times, I think, since we've been doing the show, get to the NCAA tournament without winning the league.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've got a Cy Young Award winner out of this league in Chris Sale, right? Yeah. And that's just one of many examples.
Logan Gilbert's really good.
Unbelievable.
Stetson pitcher, yeah.
Unbelievable. So the baseball product here is spectacular. It's not just baseball. Yeah. Softball here is spectacular, and I think has a chance to be a multi-bid sport for us. Volleyball, same deal. So we're pretty deep.
Jeff, let me change gears a little bit while we have you here. We ask coaches and ADs this all the time, but from the commissioner's chair, how do you feel about the House settlement? How do you feel about where college athletics are headed, and how will it affect the Atlantic Sun?
Well, I like to say I'm comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And some people aren't. And so the House settlement, for those that aren't comfortable being uncomfortable, has been a challenge. And we can talk about the rights, wrongs, and indifference within that. What I would say is it's here. So let's accept that, and let's move on, and let's figure out not only how to navigate it and deal with what comes along with that, but how do we take advantage of that? Where do we find opportunities? I mean, the reality is, as we move forward now, and institutions have what's called this opportunity to opt in. I don't love that language, but that's a whole other story. It's really participating in the sharing of benefits or not. But as they have this opportunity to share benefits with student athletes, where can we take advantage of that? How do we accelerate our brand? How do we accelerate our institutions? How do we out-recruit those that we want to out-recruit? So I like change. I think it's a good thing. It's definitely needed in college athletics today, let's face it, right? And I've been in this industry for 20-plus years. We need to change. So if this is helping force us to do that, I'm all about embracing it and the opportunity it's going to create for students moving forward.
What's your advice to members that are deciding whether to participate, opt in, however you want to phrase it, for this upcoming year?
Right now, today, I would say make the right decision for you. Evaluate your situation. Not everybody's the same, right? So take a really hard look at your campus and what your priorities are. If you opt into the settlement, you have to accept new roster limits, which is going to mean student athletes are going to lose opportunities. If you have a sport that you have 70-some student athletes and you got to cut it to 48, that's a lot of students looking for a new home. So you have to evaluate that and how that impacts your campus and your community. So that would be one. And number two would be to have a mindset of eventually getting to that opt-in place if you can get there. Because I do think that's where Division I is headed as an entity. So if your sights and your aspirations are to be a Division I member moving forward, I think it would be wise to, at some point, put a plan in place to opt in. That might or might not be today.
That's an interesting answer because I think we're going to see both. I can't speak for the other 10, but I think you're going to see both JU and UNF not opt in the first year, but opt in by year 2. I think that's what's going to happen. I know both campuses. I think that's what they're both going to do. I'm wondering if that's what the others will do too.
I would say in our league, and this is my take on it. I'm not trying to speak on behalf of our institutions and the decisions that they make, but having had those conversations with them, you're going to see a good portion of our league opt in immediately this year.
Okay.
And I would say that everyone else has an eye on the future, just like I described.
Okay. So to get there eventually. That's the goal.
That's the general goal. Yep.
All right. Final thing. Lipscomb, Queens, JU, North Al, 4 good teams. Who's going to win?
No, you put the commissioner on the spot.
You got to ask the commissioner that, right? I mean, Lipscomb's really good. I would say Lipscomb, from my eye, is a hair better than the and then I think the other 3 are kind of lumped in there together. What do you think?
Lipscomb is the 1 seed for a reason.
Yeah.
Right? And as you just mentioned, if they're projected to be a 13 seed in the NCAA tournament right now, and that's for a reason. They're really darn good. They're senior-led. They've got our player of the year. They've got our coach of the year. And they're at home. They've got home court advantage on top of that. So to say they're not the favorite would be, probably not the most common answer. But I'll tell you what, North Alabama is a heck of a basketball team. Jakari Lane, their point guard. If you haven't watched North Alabama play yet, watch them play and watch Jakari Lane. And not just Jakari, they got a whole heck of a lot of talent on the team, but he is special. I think he put up 31 in the quarters, if I'm not mistaken. So an elite scorer and a really fun team. So they got a real shot at this thing. And Queens is a young up-and-comer with a couple really young, talented players. They got our defensive player of the year, man in the post down there, so you can't count them out. And then Jacksonville is just that team that is just tough and gritty and finds ways to win basketball games. They play good defense, and you got Rob McCray on your team, you got a shot. So I like all 4 of them. There's my commissioner answer for you.
By the way, that was a great answer. Not your first rodeo, I can tell you that. And by the way, we're rooting for JU of the 4 teams that are left, and we saw Rob McCray take over the game the other night.
He can do it.
He took over the game.
He can do it.
We were there at the game.
Yeah, double-double.
Belated welcome to Jacksonville, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you for stopping by. It's great having you here, and
Thanks,
I'm excited not only about the league being here, but about the tournament as well. We appreciate you coming by.
Appreciate you guys.
Back in a moment with Hays Headlines. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Happy New Year from everyone at Nimnick Chevrolet. Now look, as they begin 2025, Nimnick is so excited to offer even more choices and better prices for you, ensuring your car buying experience is second to none. And if you're wondering where to go for a better buying experience, it's simple. Nobody but Nimnick. So here's to another year of driving forward together. And don't forget now, in this new year means new truck time at Nimnick Chevrolet. This month, you can save up to $12,000 off a new Silverado. Unlike most dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground, ready for you to explore. And with their extensive selection, you're sure to find the perfect truck at Nimnick. Available now, the all-new Silverado EV, designed to go the distance. It boasts 440 miles of range, more standard range than any competitor, and ask about a terrific low rate as well. So who's got more new Silverados at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnick Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
The Players Championship is the biggest PGA Tour event you can win.
If you can't make it to the Players, let 1010XL bring the Players to you with Southeast Orthopedic Specialist leaderboard updates. Teed up by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
The Deck Guys.
And Taco Lou.
Lots of jewelry stores in the town center, but only one is locally owned, Beard's Diamonds.
We're the only local jewelry store at the town center.
That's Jacksonville's John Lupo, owner of Beard's for over 4 decades.
We're entrenched in Jacksonville, Florida.
In a sea of mega chain jewelers, John says it's easy to stand out because he's not handcuffed by a corporate handbook.
I am not beholden to a corporate structure, so we've got flexibility to do whatever we can and want, and we do.
And that includes lowering prices to undercut them every day.
Quality for quality, color for color, everything the same. We should be able to beat them hands down by minimum 20%. We go overseas ourselves. We know exactly what we're buying. This isn't getting marked up in a corporate structure. We will beat anybody's price anywhere.
So before you buy anything at one of those chains, get a second opinion at locally owned Beard's Diamonds. No corporate atmosphere, no corporate rules, no corporate high markups.
We want you to come shop us and you'll see a lot better price here.
Beard's Diamonds.
Everybody gets a good deal at Beard's.
Frank Frangie here for South State Bank. At South State, they believe strong relationships build strong businesses. That's why they take the time to understand your goals, challenges, and vision, so they can provide solutions tailored to your needs, like they've done for me for years. South State has always been there for our business and our charity. With a team you can trust and a commitment to personalized service, South State Bank is here to be more than your bank. They're your partner in business. Visit southstatebank.com. South State Bank, member FDIC.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast Orthopedic Specialists for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialists take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Frank Frangie here for Bono's Pit Barbecue. Bono's has been serving Jacksonville's best barbecue for over 75 years. And now, catch this. Bono's new limited time offer features an Atlantic fried cod platter with 2 pieces of mouth-watering fried cod and 1 southern side for $15.49, or a fried cod sandwich with 1 southern side for $12.99. You can't beat that deal. And after 1 bite, you'll be hooked. So you better hurry in. The fried cod platter right now at Bono's. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Take a radio boat ride with Captain Cabin on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Reeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services and awaken 180 weight loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it. They do it, whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Are you an experienced chiller technician and looking for a role where your skills are truly valued? It's time to make the move to Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. You'll get top pay, comprehensive health and welfare benefits for your family, and a pension that doesn't come out of your pocket. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group, 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round.
News headlines presented by Harrell and Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
All right, you guys deserve some good headlines, so I'm going to do my best
I
here.
hope so.
Yeah.
I hope you're reaching back.
I'm reaching
If you don't
back.
reach back here, then why are we even doing? Why are we even here?
It helps when the news of the day, gives you a lot to chew on.
Okay.
And this news cycle has. So we're going to start with the Jaguars, as we often do. The Jaguars released receiver Christian Kirk. The 28-year-old Kirk had 2,274 yards in 3 seasons here with the Jaguars. The move saves the Jaguars $10.8 million on the salary cap.
I was really torn on it. I know a lot of people expected it. I'm not surprised by it, but I'm just a big fan of his. I think he plays the game the right way. I think he's a good player. I think unless you're really good, it's hard to say goodbye to good players. And I think he's a very good player. I think he really connects with his quarterback. But I get it. He was very expensive. He's not the best receiver on the team. As good as he is, that's Brian Thomas Jr. And he was hurt a few times. He was hurt twice in the last 3 years. I'm a big fan. I hated to see it, but I understood.
ESPN draft expert Jordan Reed has a 2-round mock out. He has quarterbacks going 1 and then 2, which is interesting, followed by Abdul Carter at 3 to the Titans. He also has the Giants trading up to 1 to get Cam Ward. So we're seeing some similarities there in the mocks that we're looking at. So the Titans go back to 3. They still get Abdul Carter. That would sicken me. Travis Hunter goes 4th to New England, which leads the Jaguars taking Michigan defensive tackle Mason Graham with the 5th pick. He then, Jordan Reed, has the Jaguars going defense again with FSU corner Azariah Thomas with the 36th pick.
Yeah, I could live with D tackle and corner. If D tackle's first, I'm not going to have much of a problem with where they go second. So I saw that mock too, and I'm okay with it. I think Mason Graham's the name you'll see associated here the most. Again, I always caution people, as much fun as mocks are, and they are, mocks are going to be way more accurate after free agency, at least after the first wave of free agency is completed. But knowing what we know now, or not knowing what we don't know now, I think is the best way to say it. Yeah, I think the mocks are pretty good.
Newsy day around the NFL. Seahawks star receiver DK Metcalf has requested a trade. The 27-year-old Metcalf has 48 receiving touchdowns already in his career. Frank, if you're James Gladstone and Liam Cohen, are you calling the Seahawks brass to inquire about Metcalf?
I'd love to have him on the team. I would want to know the cost, not the financial cost, because you don't do that unless you're going to make the deal, and I think they can move the cap around. I would want to know the cost in terms of draft picks. I would not give up 5, obviously. I would not switch 18 and 5. So I'd be interested to see what the cost was. Would I give up a third if I could pay him? Yeah, maybe. I think he's a really good player, but the cost would have a lot to do with that.
I totally get it. I'd love to see the Jaguars make a move for Metcalf, but my guess is he has said he wants to go to a contender, and while he doesn't have a no trade, my guess is they're going to have enough suitors. It seems like the Chargers are really in play here, so it might be tough for the Jaguars to pull it off anyway.
And by the way, guys with 1 year left on their contract effectively do have a no trade, because he can just say, I'm not going to sign an extension with you, and if that's the case, no one's going to trade for him.
Great point. The Raiders signed edge Max Crosby to a it's the most lucrative non-quarterback deal in league history, a 3-year, $106.5 million extension. The 27-year-old Crosby has 59.5 career sacks already. Looks like he's going to be a Raider for a long time.
Fantastic pass rusher, good move. You extend your pass rushers. Other than quarterback, that's the guy you extend more than anybody else. Good for the Raiders. They got it right.
And it will be interesting to see what the Jaguars decide to do with Trayvon Walker. He is eligible for an extension. But, my guess is Liam Cohen, James Gladstone, they're going to say, hey, show us what you can do for a season, and then we'll negotiate with you. But who knows? Maybe they'll be proactive with it.
Yeah, we'll see. I would extend Trayvon. I think Trayvon, again, you don't have enough good players to put yourself in a position where good players walk, particularly at that position. So I would not be surprised to see that extension happen.
The Bears have traded for Chiefs All-Pro guard Joe Thuney for a 2026 fourth-round pick. Chicago has been busy building a new-look offensive line. The Bears traded for Rams guard Jonah Jackson on Tuesday. The 32-year-old Thuney has been an All-Pro selection the last 2 years. Bears quarterback Caleb Williams was sacked a league-high 68 times last season during his rookie campaign.
Are you surprised Thuney was available? I mean, I know he's older.
Yeah.
But he's so versatile.
I'm surprised that they only got a 26 for it.
Yeah. I mean, he's so versatile. He's an all-pro. He'll go play wherever you want him to go play and not complain about it.
I guess they just prioritized Trey Smith more and tagged him.
And they really paid him.
And there's only so much money.
Pay him,
But yeah, I think it's a great deal for Chicago to get that kind of a lineman. Should have another year or two left.
And he's a pro.
Really strong play. Absolutely.
And he's a pro. I do too.
The Seahawks are parting ways with longtime receiver Tyler Lockett. The 32-year-old Lockett has 61 touchdowns in his career. Probably will have some sort of a market, but I would not expect the Jaguars to be interested here.
There's a real rebuild going on there for a team that's been pretty good. They haven't been terrible, but Metcalf wants out. They've cut Lockett. They've got to figure out quarterback. That's a franchise. That's a franchise in some transition, Hays. It really is, particularly offensively.
Without a doubt. The Raiders will be releasing quarterback Gardner Minshew. The 28-year-old Minshew, who began his career with the Jaguars, will be seeking his fifth team. Probably will get another opportunity, I would imagine.
He'll have no chance finding a team. I don't know that he'll be signed as a starter, but he'll have Gardner Minshew. How old is Gardner? How old is Gardner?
28.
Gardner Minshew has 10 more years of easily finding work in the NFL. He's a good person. He's a hard worker. He's charismatic. He lifts people around him. I would, if he's not a backup at the very least, not a backup quarterback in the league for the next 10 years, I'd be shocked. I really would. He'll have no trouble finding a team. Now, if he wants to compete from a starting spot, I don't know if he's going to have that, but he'll have a team to play on. There's no doubt in my mind.
Let's get it to the NFL draft. The Gators Pro Day is set for March 27th. Chim DK, Elijah Badger, and Montrell Johnson all coming off impressive combine performances. And Frank, it got us sort of wondering if DK Badger and Montrell Johnson are all running 4.4s at the combine, why wasn't that speed more evident with Billy Napier calling the plays last year?
I want to get to this. We've been so busy this week, haven't done it yet. I want to do it tomorrow. There's the good and the bad. The bad is they didn't look fast in that offense. They looked good, like good players,
right?
But they didn't look like speed burners in the offense. Why was that? Did the offense hold them back from that, to your point? And it's a very fair question. The other thing is, none of those guys got to Florida's fast guys. Certainly not with the reputation as fast guys. Did the development, the strength and conditioning program really make them that much better? And if it did, boy, that's a very good sign. So you can look at it two ways. Why didn't they look faster in the offense? Fair point. Did the strength and conditioning program make those guys all of a sudden fast guys? And if that's the case, what happens with this collection of players that is really good for them now?
Yeah, that's a great point. Let's get to college basketball. Number 5, Florida is a 3.5-point underdog tonight at 7th-ranked Alabama. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. on ESPN2. The winner clinches a double bye in next week's SEC tournament and makes a big push towards a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, the team that doesn't win that game will not be a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. The team that wins that game is in play for a 1 seed, and really good play for a 1 seed. I think Alabama's going to win. Now, I know I said earlier if Florida beat Auburn, they would be a 1 seed, so I'm contradicting myself a little bit. But here's what I love. There's no games anymore from now until the rest of the season, including April in San Antonio, where I would be surprised if Florida won the game. I was surprised they beat Auburn, but I said after that Auburn game, I'm not going to be surprised again. If they can win that game, they can win any of them. They might win tonight. I'm going to pick Alabama by a little bit. Alabama has had some tough blows, some gut punches. Both are 12-4 in the league. The winner goes to 13-4 and probably finishes. If Florida wins, they can finish 14-4. Alabama still got to play Auburn. So I'm going to pick Alabama to win tonight and hope I'm wrong. What about you?
I'm going to pick Florida tonight. I just think they match up so well against Alabama. So I think similar to the game at Kentucky, but I'll say Florida wins 106-100. It'll be a very entertaining game.
That'd be a lot of fun. Can't wait to watch it.
Absolutely. The following game on ESPN2 will have interest to Gators fans as well. Tennessee travels to Ole Miss. The Gators host the Rebels on Saturday in the regular season finale and are fighting with Tennessee for a potential 1 seed in March Madness. The Vols are a 2.5-point road favorite tonight in Oxford.
Yeah, Ole Miss has a good team, but I think Auburn, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and I know A&M just beat Auburn, but in my mind, there's a bit of a drop-off after that. And yes, I'm saying A&M, Ole Miss, that next kind of group that's clustered in there together, maybe it's just those two, Hays. I think there's a little drop-off. And yes, again, I know A&M just beat Auburn, but I still think there's the first four. I think there's Auburn's a little bit ahead of everybody. But I think Auburn, Florida, Tennessee, and Alabama, I've got them lumped together and a little bit of a drop-off after that in a very, very good league.
Absolutely, yes. Texas A&M snapped their 4-game losing skid in a major way, knocking off number 1 Auburn 83-72 in College Station last night. The Tigers have already clinched the SEC title, but they did drop to second in the net rankings behind Duke, which really surprised me because we've talked about all the quad 1 wins that Auburn has. But Auburn now second in the net behind Duke. The Aggies moved up 3 spots in the net to number 20.
Yeah, I will say this. The ACC's not very good, but Duke's what, 17-1 or whatever they are in the league. When you're that good in a traditionally good league, I get it. Look, A&M's going to be a tough out in that tournament. They're a tough physical team, and look, Florida's going to get paired with some other SEC teams in a region that you can't avoid it. It's not like there's only 4 teams going in, so they're going to be paired with another, maybe 2 other SEC teams. I hope one of them's not A&M. That's one of the teams I wouldn't want. I'd way rather get paired with Ole Miss. Dare I say, almost even Tennessee, even though they're going to be in a higher area. I don't want to get paired with A&M.
The Atlantic Sun announces the men's and women's tournaments will be played in Jacksonville at the arena starting next season. Very exciting news locally for basketball fans.
Yeah, and Jeff Bacon, the commissioner, is a really sharp guy. The commissioner of the A-Sun, which is now based here, was in studio with us a moment ago. Well, I really loved meeting him. What a sharp dude. And he was a good guy, and he's proud of that league and where that league's headed. And look, here's the challenge. All neutral site tournaments have challenges in the early rounds when 2 teams that are not located near the neutral site are playing. But that's why they have to work hard to sell tickets and to make it work. But I'm glad it's here. I think it's going to be an exciting week. I think it'll be a fun week in Jacksonville. I really do.
I agree. Getting it to golf, the Players will open the fan shop this weekend, so be sure to get out there and get the newest, latest gear. You can also enjoy that replica 17th as well.
You know what? How good is that? How good is that? How exciting is it that we are here, that the tournament is here? What a fun week in Jacksonville. Looks like the weather, by the way. Have you seen the weather?
I haven't.
It's going to be fantastic.
Is it great?
75. It looks like there may be some rain early in the week, but from Tuesday, Wednesday on, all the way through the tournament play, 75 degrees and sunny. 75 and sunny is pretty good.
And it was really windy today, so
was it windy today?
That got out of its system, so they probably won't have to worry about today was crazy wind.
Yeah, it was.
If you'd been out there.
I was at yesterday, by the way. I went and said hello to Mia and Taylor when they were doing helmets and heels from Jack's Golf. It was really windy yesterday, and I will tell you, our golf course, and I live at Jack's Golf, which is, I don't know, 3-4 miles off the beach, probably somewhere there. But Hodges is what, 3-4 miles from the water, and the wind really rips through my golf course. Our golf course is so much harder when it blows. Imagine out there. So if that wind is howling out there, good luck.
Frank, we cover everything here.
Yes,
in
we
headlines,
do.
So we will get it to food because on this date,
I love food.
Back in 1984. Cinnamon Toast Crunch was released.
That is not true. How about that? Is that right? So that's when so maybe one of the greatest days in the history of our world?
I would say so.
Taste you can see.
Is there anything better than polishing off a box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
If I had a dime for every time it's 11:30, wife's in bed, dog's in bed, there's a late ball game on, I go grab the box. Do I need milk? I don't need milk. You might need milk. Do I look like I need milk? No, I don't need milk. I'm lactose not needing is what I am. I'll grab that box and just go. The truth is you can eat a box of that and probably gain like 78 pounds at one sitting, but it's the greatest 78-pound grain of all time.
And if you do use the milk, how good is that milk at the end?
You got to turn it up.
It's
you turn the bowl up.
Oh,
the only thing better than milk is Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, leftover milk.
Absolutely.
Oh, fantastic.
They got
You've just made me happy.
Yeah,
I am
there
now
you go.
totally happy.
Yeah, happy birthday, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. We will.
Maybe the best headlines item of all time.
I agree. We will get you guys out on our musical note of the day because we are looking back as well to celebrate our musical note. On this day, back in 1983, Michael Jackson's Billie Jean reaches the top spot on the Billboard charts. The song would enjoy a 7-week run atop the chart. Billie Jean was the second single released off the landmark album Thriller, and Billie Jean is also where Michael Jackson debuted the moonwalk.
In the dance era, which probably started with disco in 75, 76, from the beginning of the dance era, might be the most iconic song in it.
Yes.
Might be the most iconic song in the, if you can define an era as such, it might be the most iconic song.
And a fantastic music video. Thriller, obviously, is the holy grail of Michael Jackson videos.
Yeah.
But Billie Jean, when he's dancing and the cubes are lighting up,
right. And by the
it's
way,
fantastic.
As we go to break, have you seen at Lions training camp, the Aiden Hutchinson, Billie Jean?
No.
If you do yourself a favor.
Okay.
Google or YouTube Aiden Hutchinson, Billie Jean. He sings it for the whole. He sings it for the whole team.
Okay.
I'm telling you, it's one of the best things you'll ever. It's one of the best things you'll ever see. So great work as always. We'll be back and we will wrap the program after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
PGA Tour Thursday, round one of the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill in Orlando, Florida. One of the deeper tournaments of the season that's a non-major event. Scotty Scheffler is the tournament's defending champion. He is the betting favorite to win again this year at plus 330. Rory McIlroy is at plus 800. Ludwig Aberg is at plus 1400. He's coming off a win at the Genesis Invitational at Torrey Pines. Colin Morikawa plus 1900 to win the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Xander Schauffele, two-time major winner last year, also plus 1900. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
A customer with an older home and galvanized piping called saying they had poor water pressure. It smelled bad and was discolored. So we at Duck Duck Rooter sent a highly skilled manager to discuss options. How repiping the water lines would solve the issues. The result? Clean flowing water. Call for your free estimate. 904-862-6769. Visit DuckDuckRooter.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jags. Serving commercial and residential, fully insured and certified plumbing contractor.
Years ago, when Harold and Harold was growing, we had a decision to make whether we were going to grow into the state or even beyond. And we decided that we were going to stay here in this community in Northeast Florida. That it's staying here and not looking at where's the next place that we can go or how can we get bigger, because the bigger is not necessarily better. This is our home. This is where our families are. This is where our friends are. And this is where we're going to stay. Offices, Jacksonville.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Hey, this is Coach Jason Gibson of your Jacksonville Sharks. I know the importance of a strong game plan, and that's exactly what I've got with Clay Solar Installation Partners. They did the install of the solar panels at my house, and I couldn't be happier. Lower energy bills, clean power, and a winning team that made the whole process easy. If you're looking to save money and go solar, trust the pros at Clay Solar. Call Karen at Clay Solar today and tell them that Coach Gibson sent you.
Homeowners, listen up. It's time to start fresh in 2025. Prosser here, and Loan Pronto is here to help take control of your finances in 2025 by lowering your house payments and consolidating that nagging debt. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Right now, Loan Pronto has some of the most competitive offers for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans, starting in the low 5s APR. If your current rate is over 6%, don't settle for paying too much. Even if you're in process with another lender, call Loan Pronto now. Lock in at a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Get your personalized Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees. Call now, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Join me, Max Fink, as I keep a close eye on everything that happens in Gator Nation.
The Gator Report, polished up by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators, 1010XL.
Go, Gators! Everybody, Mike Dempsey here with Matt and Catherine. They made the decision to lose weight and improve their lives together, both dropping 33 pounds thanks to Awaken 180 weight loss.
She came home so excited one day and said, I heard about Awaken 180. I'm so excited. You have to try it with me. It's not medication. It's not a shot. It's food. You're going to make meals. And I think that was one of the biggest selling points.
What makes Awaken 180 different is the maintenance program. Just to know that you get that support gives me the confidence to keep going. I think it's important for people to know how much more fun it is to do it with a partner. Just to have the support system, it's so much more helpful.
It's going to change your life.
Thanks, guys. Like any goal, accomplishing it with someone sharing the same goal makes it twice as easy and twice as rewarding. Grab a coworker, friend, or spouse and make your 180 with the solution for weight loss online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold and silver and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at almost $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Here's good advice from your friends here at 1010XL. I'm Frank Frangie. The next time you need to send a gift for a birthday, anniversary, wedding, or just for the fun of it, call the experts at Kuhn Flowers. For over 75 years, Kuhn Flowers does it right.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now, many of you have received a postcard in the mail, and of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart, lunch, and a beer at the brand new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron. The LPGA Stars of Tomorrow are at the Epson Tours Atlantic Beach Classic, presented by Access Golf, March 6th through the 8th at Atlantic Beach Country Club. Tickets available at AtlanticBeachClassic.com. See the ladies shine on the First Coast.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, been a busy day today. We certainly talked about Christian Kirk. The reports out that he will be released by the Jaguars. We talked all about good move, bad move. Certainly understand the move, and I wish Christian nothing but the best. A stand-up guy and a good football player, but he will be moving on from the Jaguars. We saw that today. We had a Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week come by. It was Maya Brumley, who one day wants to work for ESPN. I'm guessing she's probably going to. Sports and Courts as well today. Brett Hastings weighed in on the FSU-Clemson ACC settlement. They came to an agreement. And it was great to have Jeff Bacon in studio today. He is the commissioner of the Atlantic Sun Conference. Really sharp guy. Talked all about the tournament coming here next year rather than being played on campus sites. We're looking forward to that. And he talked all about how the A-Sun wound up here. It is now based here, that, and a whole lot of other stuff. So it was a fun day to talk about a bunch of different stuff, and that is where we've been on the course of the program today. We have not, because of all the other stuff going on, including all the college basketball, we have not gotten to college football with spring starting, but I'm going to eventually. I'm very intrigued. FSU, as we said yesterday, so much newness on their team. Florida, I've looked, and I told Hicken this on the podcast. I've looked at the roster. Boy, oh boy, I don't know if he's a good enough coach to win with it, but I just can't find many holes in the roster. I mean, every position I look at, there's a handful of good players. Now, there's not a lot of good players who have played a lot. Their veteran receivers are gone, and so that's that. They've lost two pretty good defensive tackles. They've got one left in Caleb Banks, plus some guys who haven't played. Jamari Lyons hadn't played a lot. They've got
Burrow, I think, is going to be good.
Who I think so too, but he hasn't played a lot.
Yeah, he hasn't played a lot.
So, but I just maybe I'm just such a happy Gator homer guy, but I don't remember the last time. Maybe it was 20 when they really were good.
This is the best roster they've had since 20.
I think that's the last time I remember looking at their roster going into spring football and thinking, man, they're good at a lot of spots. Now, I was very confident that coach could call the right plays.
Right.
I'm not as confident this guy can, but just the roster alone, and so many guys took a step last year. If those guys take that step again, all the ones that are back again, boy, it's a good roster, I think.
It is a good roster. I think it's a more complete team on paper than the 20 team. The 20 team was obviously electric on offense with what they had, Trask and Pitts and the receivers.
And great play calling.
Great play calling. Yeah. And defensively, they were good, but they weren't outstanding.
Right, I agree.
I think so. I think this team, I don't know that they'll be as good offensively, primarily for what you're alluding to. Billy Napier is not close to Dan Mullen as an offensive play caller. But I think from a balance standpoint, from a talent standpoint, I think they potentially have a team that can beat you 17-13 or can beat you 38-34.
Yeah.
So it is exciting to see what they become. It's by far the first time in years where I have not looked at the Florida depth chart and felt like, oh, this is going to be a really long fall.
Yeah.
It's the first time.
Yeah, you
like
said,
you now look at the roster. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I look at it and I see a team that really could be pretty special if they can navigate a really tough schedule.
Yeah, well, you said they can beat you 17-13 or 38-34. I agree with that. But for the first time since maybe the ball coach or at least Urban, they might also could beat you 38-13. They haven't had that. They haven't had the team that might be able to do that on a quasi-regular basis. So, again, we'll see if it's real. We won't know that until well into September, I suppose. But, and again, we'll talk more about that. And, again, we said this about FSU. I want to get Ira Schofel on the show. They have so much newness. There's not going to be a spring game. I'm really intrigued with how they're going to look. So we'll certainly talk about that coming up on the programs to come. So we'll talk about that. Also, baseball right around the corner. You chomping at the bit, JJ, for this team
I
to
really
start?
am.
I am too.
I'm excited. I love seeing the guys in spring training, but man, it's so long.
Yeah, it does.
It's like a month and a half.
I'm ready.
Yeah,
and listen, I plan to lock in on all 74 of my team's wins this year. Okay, I hope I get to watch I hope of the games I pick. I hope that's my goal is to watch.
Y'all's start last season was just so fun.
Well, we started 4-0 because you started with the Marlins, who the Pirates weren't very good. The Marlins were terrible. And by the way, this year start again at the Marlins, 4 straight games at the Marlins, and they might be even worse. the Marlins might be historically bad this year. So we need to play them more often. Let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. Find the coolest cats in town at coolcatsjacks.com.
Do you still hate all the Boston teams? Or did you get over that?
I get over that.
Okay. It was a great bit. I loved it.
Yeah, it worked for a little bit. But
you're back.
I did do one thing, though. I made a promise. I don't talk Boston hardly ever anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we usually go with what we love, and Boston is where I was born and spent my first 18 years. I can't remember the last time I talked about a Boston team.
Yeah. I mean, with your buddies at the bar?
Has nothing to do with the fact that the Bruins are awful.
Yeah, okay.
Has nothing to do with the fact that the Patriots are awful. Has nothing to do with the fact that the Red Sox are awful. The Celtics are world champions.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, no, boys in the bar, that's different.
Yeah, you mean on the radio?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, I got you.
Never talking about it anymore.
I got it.
But I'm just really
shook. Are the Bruins
shook.
terrible?
Yeah, they're not going to make the playoffs this year for like the first time in like 80 years or something.
I don't follow the NHL close, but isn't it like every team but 2 makes the playoffs?
Yeah, it's 3 per division, 2 wild cards, so it's 8 per conference.
Okay, so there's 16.
Who's coaching him? Willie Taggart?
So how many teams are in the NHL?
Right now there are, I think, 30. There was 30. They just added the Seattle Hockey Club or the Utah Hockey Club.
So 32.
I think there's 31 or 32.
Okay.
Might be an odd number.
Yeah, and 60. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. By the way, the Penguins any good? I have no idea.
No.
They're no good either.
They're aging, and they were talking about maybe trading Malkin or maybe trading Crosby, but
they're both still on the team?
Yeah, they're both still there. I got to tell you, though, I'm really shaken. I don't bring this up often.
You look rattled.
Okay. I mean, last night was so bad. It was so controversial, and you've got to be kidding me. How can Virginia knock off Leonard Hamilton in his final matchup against the Cavaliers?
Wow, that happened last night.
Is that what you thought I was going to say?
Yeah, I did. I really didn't know what you were going to say. Once you get rattled, I love these 3 minutes.
Well, there was nothing else on last night, so I was watching.
I heard Luke Laux might get that job.
He could.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Did you know that?
No.
Luke, do you know who that is?
That?
He was like
he was a good player. He was played on the good teams.
He imported him from somewhere, and he was like a 3-point specialist.
Yeah, but he played on the good teams
back in like Leonard's golden years.
Yeah, he had the. And then he went, and then he disappeared. I thought he was like running a hardware store in Macon. Turns out he went to the NBA. It's like this assistant
they rolled
coach.
out the red carpet for him. They had him up in the skybox the other day. And
Luke, there's your new coach.
How
Luke,
about that?
I tell you what, look out, Todd Golden. Here comes the Luke Laux.
By the way,
dignitaries were there.
It's too late now, but in one of these coming up in the next couple of days, you've got to tee him up on the Ovechkin empty net goal thing because I see it on Twitter,
I do too.
and I don't know enough about hockey.
I don't either.
So I'm dying to hear him just rip into it for 2 minutes.
Yeah,
it's just so tainted. I mean, it's one of the most heralded records in hockey.
Do it tomorrow.
And they're up 3 goals, and they'll pull the goaltender, and he's taking a slap shot with 1/10 of a second left to an open net. I mean, he's chasing down. This would be like Barry Bonds chasing down Henry Aaron, but you literally put the baseball on the tee for Barry Bonds.
So you don't like it?
No, I don't like it at all. I used to love Ovechkin. He's the greatest goal scorer of all time, but what he's doing now is tainting the record.
Rick Ballou goes into the night. Comes up right now. Folks, that's our program. You think the Gators win tonight?
I do. Gators by 6.
I hope you're right. I think Alabama's going to win, but I want to be wrong on that. We'll see you tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.
It's the Ride